Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight season 12 episode 11. It's already 1 month since the couples got married, so this episode is around the 1 month anniversary and all the chaos that's still going on around the couples. In my opinion, I think the producers are creating unnecessary drama for some of the couples just because their concern is if Chris and Paige stop filming, then the season is going to be boring because there's not going to be a lot of drama or commotion for people to be, interested in watching. But I think a lot of people like watching when the couples are just getting to know each other and sort of building a relationship. But then that just could be me. I don't know. So this week I'll start off with Eric and Virginia. Eric and Virginia are getting along. Well, it's a bit difficult to say because at times you think everything is going on smoothly, and then suddenly they make these funny remarks towards each other, or something comes up, and then you sort of question whether they're actually going to make it past decision day. So they go on a picnic, and they have a conversation, and they also go on their 1 month anniversary, where they go. Um, Eric takes them in his little aeroplane for to fly around. I think close to his family's hangar. So during the picnic, they have a conversation about where they're going to live after the decision day. And Virginia's adamant that she doesn't want to live in Eric's house. And for me, what Eric says sort of makes sense because he tells her that, you're renting, I own my place. So there's no point in us, living in a rented place when we own a property. And he's not willing to get a second mortgage when he hasn't yet sold his house. So he would rather sell his house first, and then if they're going to buy something else. And Virginia still insists that, she doesn't think his place is ideal because she has pets, and she doesn't think they'll be able to the place will be able to accommodate all of them. And it's like, I understand she's got pets, but there's already an issue with the cat because Eric says he's allergic to cats. So I don't know. Eric sort of uh, gives her an ultimatum that, at the end of the decision day, I'm going to move into my back to my house. And so it's up to you where you decide you want to go, but I know where I'm going. And it's like they can't sort of have a decent conversation without these ultimatums. And it's really sad because I really hope they're taking time to know one another, because I think because they like each other too much, they're sort of pushing most of the stuff under the carpet, where some people are addressing their concerns and they're building on them, and they're sort of finding ways to compromise. So um, they go in the aeroplane, they go flying. Virginia seems to enjoy it, she really likes it. And Eric is very comfortable because that's what he flies for a living. And then after that, during the dinner, they sort of give each other presents. And they're both very awkward when they receive their presents. This is why I'm saying I don't think they're taking enough time to know one another, because the they they were both sort of puzzled by the gifts they got. Virginia gave Eric a blanket of herself and her dog and said, this is for you to use while you're away to remember us by. And he gave her the coordinates of where they got married. And so it's just, they really have a lot of work to do. If their goal is to stay married past the 8 weeks, they really need to, focus and stop sort of fluffing around the edges and actually dissect what's going on between them and sort of find out their differences and see if they can work through their differences to make their marriage work, or decide, no, this is too much, we're not going to be able to do this, and just move on, because otherwise they're going to be married, and then a couple of months later, after decision day, they're going to get divorced when they actually realize that, there are a lot more problems than they actually thought they were. So I really hope they take time to work and to get to know each other before they get to decision day, and not just assume that everything will be fine. Um, from there, we move on to Brianna and Vincent. Oh, Brianna and Vincent, they're the sunshine in this episode, because they really seem to have fallen in love with each other, and they really care about each other, and they're making time for each other, and they're not sort of focused on anything else going on around them apart from the two of them. And so for their 1 month anniversary, um, they went on a boat, and they were able to watch their wedding ceremony, just sit and talk and have their meal. And you can really tell that these two people are in love, and they, to them, I think they're already looking past decision day, because I think to them, as far as they're concerned, whatever problems they might have are not enough to sort of break them up. And so you find that they're just in their little world. They're just, they're sort of like the um, Jason Austen of the season, whereby the only difference is they're not as boring as Jason Austen. They are, they're this. You just get this warm feeling when you watch them, and they're just in their own space, and they're not bothered about what's going on around them with the other couples. They're just focused on making their marriage work and building on their relationship, which is very good, because you can actually see that they are paying attention, they are listening to one another, they are sort of compromising, they are you know taking time to want what is best for their other half. So whatever decisions they're making, they're taking into consideration their partner and making sure that their partner is comfortable, and that whatever they do, they're not going to hurt the other person. So it was really nice to see them together and really enjoying themselves and really appreciating their wedding. And there was no drama between them. They seemed more settled. I think it was only, the past couple of weeks while they were still getting to know each other. But I have said this before, and I'll continue to say it. They are the best match, in my opinion, that Married at First Sight has had, in the sense that they're two people who just clicked and they've just seemed to work. And you can't really sort of point at what is making them work, but they are working, and they really don't have that many problems, I think, outside of the minor issues whereby at the start of the season about, the bossing and the Vincent's temper. But I don't think it's any worse than it's worse than what everybody else is dealing with. I think they're the people that you can clearly see that they're going to stay married after the 8 week period. So I wish them all the best, and hopefully they continue on the smooth ride. From there, we move on to Haley and Jacob. Oh, God. Personally, Haley, in my opinion, is wasting Jacob's time. Haley is wasting Jacob's time. Haley is someone who, I don't know her, but I can only go by what we're saying, and obviously it's an edited version of the season. But Haley was crying this episode. She was, she's more vocal this episode. She's making out. She was, they went out for a meal, and it was their 1 month anniversary, so they went for wine tasting, and then she had this tarot card reader person come round, and she's constantly saying that she's tried. She doesn't know how much more she can do. I think if Haley was honest with herself, Haley has been a bridesmaid so many times. She said it, that she's been a bridesmaid and she's never been a bride, and she's really wanted to get married. But personally, I think her expectations of a partner are way, 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 way too high, and she won't admit it. So instead of admitting that, no, she hasn't given Jacob a shot. She's just been, doing things, just going through the motions just because she has to. She hasn't really applied herself, because she keeps saying, oh, I don't know how much more I can give. I've really tried. I don't know how much more. You really haven't tried. You really haven't tried. This is why I think if people are going to Married at First Sight with the intention of their relationship working, maybe it's not always a good idea for you to have a physical relationship before you get to know your partner. Because I think if she had given Jacob a try, because a lot of people have commented that maybe she's more turned off after they slept together, because maybe it didn't meet her expectations. But maybe if she had got to know Jacob first before they became intimate, she might have given him a chance. But because she whatever happened during their intimate episode, it might have been enough to turn her off. But had she known the guy, had she known the type of guy he was and whatever, they could have worked through that. We've had couples on Married at First Sight complain about the intimacy. We all remember when Beth talked about, Caucasian sex. But still, they're still married, which means they've worked through it. They've given each other a shot. They've worked through it, and they've learned to do what is best for them. And so, if Haley had given Jacob a shot, even if he didn't meet her expectations, they could have worked on it, and she could have given him a chance, worked on it, and improved on it, and got whatever she wanted. But he keeps telling her that, I don't think you're putting in as much effort, and she's become very defensive and has now resorted to tears, whereby when she finds that she's backed into a corner, she starts crying. Oh, I'm really trying, I'm really trying. And it's like the audience is looking and thinking, where? We haven't seen you try. Where are you trying that we're not seeing? You're constantly being pulled by Jacob for not trying or for not applying yourself. And you keep saying you're trying. We're not seeing how you're trying. And the more they go in circles, I think, because Jacob told her that, if you want, we can go at this pace, and then after the 8 weeks, we just go our separate ways, which is exactly what I see happening, because I don't think she's going to ever change. And it's really sad that you have people like Haley, people like Chris, that come onto Married at First Sight saying they want to get married, but they're not ready for marriage, and they take away an opportunity from somebody that could have really used that. Because had Jacob been matched with someone like Mindy or someone like Paige, who really wanted to get married, they most probably might have made it work, because they really want to get married. They would have taken time to know their partner, and they could have had a lasting relationship. But anyway, she says she's tried. He's fed up. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they call it quits before decision day, because I don't know how much more of Haley Jacob can take, and I don't know how much more Haley can go on pretending that she's applying herself when everybody that's watching knows she's not. So I don't know. It's really sad, and I don't know how much longer they can carry on with this. But hey, who knows? Somebody might know better. Please comment if you have a different opinion from me. Next we move on to Ryan and Clara. Ryan and Clara, in my opinion, Ryan and Clara are fine. They are working. They are compromising. Now Clara started moving in her stuff to Ryan's place, and she started, they've started coming up with ideas of what they want to do and how, after the experiment, which is good. But I think because Clara comes across as someone who wants to go, wants to get things done, and Ryan is more reflective. And I think this is where they sort of there's a bit of friction there, because you could tell when she was trying to explain to him what she was going to bring, what they wanted to do, you could see that, it was becoming too much, it was becoming overloaded, but he didn't want to be rude. So, he was trying to process what she was saying, but he was becoming very overloaded with all the information she was giving him. But it was nice to see that he took into consideration some of the things she said, like putting lights in the garden and stuff, and he did that for their 1 month anniversary. They were able to sit down and watch their wedding. They were able to, to have a meal. But as we all know, there's still the question of I love you, and the fact that, Clara really wants, Ryan to give her some eggplant. And he's still taking his time. He's really taking his time. And I know people are criticizing him for that, but in my opinion, Ryan did things the right way. And maybe a couple like Haley and Jacob, had they followed Ryan's template or Ryan and Clara's template, they might be in a different position. Because from the fact that right from the start, he made sure that they looked at each other at the same time, he gave her a thoughtful gift, it sort of warmed her heart. And I think this is why she's so desperate to see, if everything is in line. Because I think the minute he tells her, I love you, and the minute he gives her the eggplant, they're sorted, because they don't have any other problems outside of that. Those are their own two problems. She wants to hear him say I love you, and she wants them to become more intimate, and that's it. And so I think it's just a matter of time, and just a matter of them of Clara exercising patience and waiting for that time. And because I think if she, I the problem is Ryan is not as vocal, but I think the when he eventually gives her what she wants, she's going to appreciate it, and I can see them lasting because on everything else they seem fine, and their only problem are two yes, they are big things, but they're not as bad as what other couples are dealing with. They're not as bad as what Eric and Eric and Virginia are dealing with, or the disaster that is Jacob and Haley, or Chris and Paige. So hopefully, very soon he will give her what she wants. It's only been 4 weeks, and I hope she understands it's only been 4 weeks. She needs to take her time and wait. Hopefully, the producers don't drag it any further and sort of try and create drama to do that, and allow them to grow and sort of build on their relationship. But I don't know. Well, then we move on to Chris and Paige. Chris and Paige, personally, I don't know why they're still on our screens because Chris and Paige have already said they are filing for a divorce. So I don't know why we still get to see them. We at the start of the episode we see them meet up. So it seems Paige moved into the accommodation provided, but Chris didn't. So Chris is still living wherever he was living before he got married. So they meet up for a game um, of pool. They have a conversation. They seem to be flirting and on a good note and sort of talking and enjoying each other's company. And then, as usual, Chris and Paige, things suddenly go left. Out of the blue, they start having a conversation. Chris is complaining, that, Paige, when they're not shooting, when the cameras are not there, she doesn't pick up her phone when he calls her. She doesn't want to do anything with him. And it's like, I don't get it. Why he's suddenly complaining that she doesn't want to meet up with him off camera. What is he after off camera? Because if he's not living with her, what does he want? He says, "Oh, I try and call you and you don't pick up," and she says she'd rather send a text. And most of the time she's busy. She's not just sitting and waiting for him. Because, in my opinion, Chris is someone who wants his partner to need him. Or that's how it comes across. Because when he met up with Paige and his ex fiance, and the ex fiance said, I'm not working anything with Chris. I don't look to having any future, a future relationship with him. You could tell that sort of threw him for a loop because I think to him, he was done with Paige and was going back to, the mother of his child, and that was it. And so when she dumped him, that's when he came back to Paige. So had she not dumped him, he would not have come back to Paige. So he's come back to Paige. And because Paige has agreed to the reset, I think he was expecting her to be all, oh my God, he's back, all this. And because she didn't give him the attention that he was expecting, this is why he threw a fit. And so suddenly they're screaming and shouting, "Oh, we're getting a divorce. Get a divorce if you want to get divorced. Don't keep playing with each other like you're little kids or toys. Make up your mind and stick to it." Because even prior to them meeting, because Paige met up with Haley and Brianna, and you could tell they in the interview, Brianna did sort of mention how she felt about it, but when Paige was sort of expressing herself, you could tell from Brianna and Haley's faces that they were not impressed, and they're very disappointed and hurt for her. And so it's sad that she keeps putting herself in this position where this man keeps, you know, emotionally abusing her, for lack of a better word, because that is what he's doing, because he's playing with her emotions. And so I don't understand. I said this, I think, last week or the week before. I don't understand why we haven't seen Paige meet up with her family members, or we haven't seen Paige confide in her friends that this is what she's going through, because they're still going to see it on TV. So I don't know why they haven't had her meet up with her family and just explain to them what's going on and hear what they think she should do. That's all. She needs to show that she's got a village that is there to support her. And so if they're not showing the family, what does this mean? Does this mean that Paige doesn't have anyone else outside of the other wives? Or are they not filming with the family members because they're concerned about COVID? But still, even if they were not physically in the same area. They could have had them have a Zoom conversation whereby they, she tells them what she's going through, and they give their opinions of how they think she should be dealing with it. Because I don't understand. And then we saw a highlight of them back together again next week, and it's just how much more it at some point it moves away from it being just not a casual experiment. It moves on from the concept of the show to something that it should not be, and now it's in a place where it's really bad, and it's creating this bad. I know there are people in relationships that are similar to Paige and Chris. I know there are people that are in a marriage and they're not happy, but still, I think it's coming to a place whereby it's becoming more towards the emotional abuse or manipulation sort of aspect of it, and I don't know how much more the fans can take, and I don't think this is a right impression for the show. I understand the experts have said that they can't force Paige to say she wants a divorce, but if Paige is not going to meet up with her family, then let her on her own meet up with the experts and have a conversation and get them to tell her the truth of what she needs to hear. Because I don't know, because some of the wives maybe are concerned about giving their honest opinions to her given what happened on their honeymoon, but somebody needs to tell her that enough is enough. She needs to tell him it's enough and move away from Chris. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think it's time for Paige's family to be involved, because I don't know how happy they will be watching it on TV and seeing all the things she went through, and yet nobody spoke to them unless she is speaking to her family off camera and they're saying they don't want to be recorded because they're too upset about it. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And it was nice to see couples meet up, like Virginia and Eric met up with Ryan and Clara. They seem to be becoming close friends. And so it's nice to see that they sort of, in their own way, have created bonds whereby they are sort of support systems for one another, and they're helping each other through the process. And I think this is why they've started getting couples to sort of live close to one another once they are married. They're trying to sort of get the wives to meet up as often as possible, or the husbands to meet up as often as possible. So I don't know. It was quite interesting and quite sad as well to see what Paige is going through. I know a lot of people are are very upset with her that she's staying, but what do you do? She's an adult. She's entitled to her own opinion, and she's entitled to make her own decisions. Though the audience have different opinions to what she should do. I don't know. Please comment and let me know what you think. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a lovely week. See you next time. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye.